What is the biggest challenge you've had in your life?
Biggest challenge? Goodness, there's so many. I try to live day to day, moment to moment. Forgiveness and living by truth and leaving your past behind and moving forward.
There's a trick to that. How do you leave it behind?
Forgiveness. Like I said, you have to forgive. I had a bit of a rough upbringing when I was young, so embracing it, understanding it by writing and helping others. That's how I get out of my head, is by helping others and getting out of your personal, because I feel like it's not about being here alone, it's about helping others. And we come here with nothing, we leave with nothing. So it's about all that you can do to help other people, and it's really not about your past or yourself. It's about others.
So when did you come to realize that?
It's been a journey. I feel like when I first moved to New York, I was volunteering. I needed to get out of my head just from past experiences, and by helping, my first volunteer job was working for the Red Cross, and I was working with elders. I choose elders and children because I feel like we learn the most from these two parallels. And I started helping others, and it just, again, not to be repetitive, but takes you out of your head and into someone other's reality, or whether it's traveling all over the world through humanitarian missions and photography, or learning other cultures about other people. The more we learn, the more we see, the more we're all the same. And I feel like it's so important to embrace others and their stories and their lives.
I see that in your work. I know you just said what drew you to elders and to elder women in particular. But can you explain why that was a little more?
I feel we need to, it's paramount that we honor and revere our elders. And they were here before us, they've brought us here, and we need to carry on through these generations and through the younger generations as well. But elders need to be respected and held with respect.
I know with what I do with Glorious Broads, I'm starting to deal with loss and grief of some of these amazing women that passed away. It's just life. How are you dealing with your grief?
By telling stories. It's important to, just by talking about someone, you're continuing their story. And how we're talking about Flo right now, I feel like she's here with us. She would be smiling for sure. I think grief opens up our hearts to learn more about humanity, and it's necessary. We're all going to go, and we need to talk about it more, I think.
I think you're right.
I think it's important to talk about it and to embrace it through illness, whatever that is. And again, that's why I'm helping, a certain age, because I'm going to be dealing with this a lot.
You are.
I have a 103-year-old right now that's not very well, Vija Vetra. I'm trying to visit her once a week at a care facility in Brooklyn, and I feel that it's so important to hold space with them and to honor them as much as possible while they're conscious and here with us. And grief, we all deal with grief differently. For me, it's through writing and telling stories.
So you're a writer as well?
I do like to write, personally, just for myself. I feel like it's very healing to write and to get it out, not to carry the grief. I feel like if you carry the grief inside, it can make you sick. It's important to get it out. It's important to talk about it. It's important to write about it, whatever it is. But for me, it's about telling stories and embracing and honoring that person's memory.
Yeah, and honoring the ritual of death.
It's very important, and it's also very beautiful. I don't think we should be afraid of it.
How does it make you feel about your death? Are you less afraid from being exposed to these older women?
I'm definitely less afraid. It's funny that you asked, because recently I had to get the new special driver's license, and that we're all forced to do now, and in order to travel. And I took this may be controversial, but I took myself off as an organ donor. When I was younger, I wanted to give every part of my body that I could as an organ donor. If you need my eyes, if you need anything that you need, please take it. But as I've gotten older, I have this funny feeling, maybe it's Native American, call it what you want, more spiritual. I would like to fly or fry whole in one piece. And I feel that it's sacred. And I'm less afraid of it. If it happens in my sleep or it's something tragic, I think we all have a destiny here. So I want to embrace whatever that destiny is and whatever it's meant to be, and to do as much as I can now while I'm alive to help others as much as possible.
All right, I'm going to ask you some questions. Did you say fry?
Yes, I don't want to be in the earth. I've been, many funerals, and Flo Fox's funeral actually, and just to be put into the cold earth in a box in a earth is something I do not want. I don't even being cremated, frying, is not my choice. If I really had my choice, Native American style would be to feed myself to the fish, or to go into the desert and lay down in a riverbed, very Native American, or something to do with nature, to go back to nature. But we're not allowed. So there is something that they do upstate where they're composting, which I think is very interesting, but I need to know more about that. That would be of interest to me. Fire is, there's something poetic about fire, flames. So that's what I mean by fry. Composting body back into the earth. This is so poetic and beautiful to me. If your body can disintegrate back into earth and you become food for nature, or become a tree or flowers, whatever it may be, that completes a circle.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Not to me personally, not a box being dug into a hole. It's just not natural to me.
So you're looking into this?
I haven't looked into it, but it is something that's in the back of my mind for sure.
Well, let's hope we're a couple of years away from that. But
Yes.
I have watched you for a couple of years, and I just love the way you kind of pivot organically from one career to the other, or perhaps you have all careers going at the same time. What is it? Is it all at the same time?
Gosh, I have so many. It's about loving what you do, and if you're loving what you do, it's not work. So I feel that everything has come to me as a gift. Each job wasn't a job that I went out to get. It wasn't a job that I was hoping to have. It just happened. So I can't say that it was planned, whether that's photography or whether that's, I used to be a model. It all happened as accidents. So it wasn't something, and one led to the other. To be in front of the camera led to be behind the camera, and behind the camera led me, I wanted to do something more with my art, to give back to humanity, which was humanitarian work. And I met somebody in an airport in Casablanca, and they said, we're starting a children's medical mission. And they said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a photographer. And they said, well, you should come meet the doctors. And long story short, the next thing I knew, I was traveling all over the world with this team of doctors documenting their free surgeries for children. And it changed my life.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't planned. It was something, be careful what you dream.
Yes.
Be careful what you wish for. But yet at the same time, you have to embrace it. So it changed my life in a way that was profound. And I have a real job, a bread and butter job. I do private events. That's covers my life and also supports my nonprofit that I've built. So I'm always going in between all of them. I don't really do so much modeling anymore. That's just occasionally here and there for something. But it was a real career for about 20, 30 years of my life. And it took me all over the world, and I'm so grateful for it. It introduced me to amazing people. It taught me my passion of photography by working with incredible photographers. And I'm very grateful for that experience. So occasionally I get like a cosmetic or something, you know, Revlon or Shiseido or something like that, which is amazing. I love it. I still have an agent for it. He'll call me up sometimes and say, hey, you need to go on this. But I consider that's more like a lottery now.
Yes.
I get a lottery call to go out. I don't really think about it, or, you know.
Yes.
It's not that serious, let's say. But if it happens, great. But it's not my focus. My focus is my nonprofit and hustling, living in this city. It's tough.
It is a hustle living in this city.
Yes, constant.
You know, there was a post today, a woman I kind of know, social media, and she put up this photo of her tiny little apartment saying, I will never let go of this apartment because it is rent. And so many women say, we get it.
Yeah. It is.
Know?
We all live in these, I mean, look outside, we live in all these little boxes on top of one another, all in our little lives. And it's also fascinating when I look out at all these buildings at night. All these lives, all these dreams, all these hopes, all these passings, all these stories in each little box.
Yes. So, as a little kid, did you ever imagine you might live the life you have now?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I grew up on a small horse farm in South Texas. I had a very traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
Until I ran away at 16.
Wow.
And I was rescued by a policeman in the middle of the night. And that part of my life was, I didn't have any projection of what the future was because I was trying to survive. And when you're in trauma and abuse and things like that, you really don't understand. You don't know the difference between what's right or what's wrong.
Yes.
Because you haven't seen it yet. You're only in it. So it's really about survival. And until you're brought away from that situation, whatever the trauma or abuse is in life, it's fascinating because then when you realize what the difference is, that's when the work begins.
Yeah. So, was it a lot of therapy? I'm asking because I just think you're such a positive person, and trauma affects so many lives for so long.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's important to get it out.
Yeah.
Therapy, talking about it. It definitely had a lot of therapy. But then in the end, it really depended on the therapist. A lot of therapists weren't great, but we didn't have the connection. There wasn't the cure there for me. And again, the saving grace was forgiveness. First, to forgive the people that hurt you. First of all, is to forgive. It's generational dysfunction in my situation. So it's 3 generations of it. So I was a pedophile, 3 generations. But it's interesting because when you realize forgiveness is so powerful, it sets you free. Mm. The next step is to talk about it, for myself to write about it.
Yeah.
And to help others. Volunteering, again, got me out of my head. And that was my cure. More so than the therapy. It was really the self-help, physicality, exercise, helping others, writing, talking.
Yeah.
It's a combination. And I think for each person, it's different. Whatever that is for you, it's important to do it because, again, if you hold that trauma, it stays in your body, and that can manifest itself into an illness, physical pain, mental. I used to deal with migraines most of my life. It stays with you unless you work it out.
Yeah.
And you really need to get it out.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And also interesting that you didn't stay within that realm, meaning you didn't necessarily work with young girls about being abused. Your area of giving back was wider.
I did work with girls. I did want to write stories to help other girls who were in similar situations, because it's alive and well today.
It is.
It's awful. Yeah, those stories, I would probably like to put together short stories for that purpose, to help others in the same situations, to give them strength that there is help out there. I personally had help through my school and was rescued by a community policeman and a school nurse. And they had seen marks on my body and they reported it, and I was petrified to say anything. They called me in and they say, "You don't have to live this life.
Wow.
We are here to help you."
That's some school. How old were you?
I was in high school, and so probably 14 at the time, and I was petrified of my family, not to say anything. I was the only child, and I was a slave. I took care of 25 horses and 40 dogs and 20 goats and 10 boars, and it was a full. They had to hire 3 people to replace me. So that was my. The animals were my family.
Yeah.
More than my real human family.
Yes.
And when they found that out, that's how they finally, none of the abuse ever got into me, because I just became you become hardened, you start, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like walls, you set up walls to protect yourself by natural survival instincts, even as a child. And so started probably when I was like 12, I guess. And generational abuse. And I think once you start protecting yourself and you have an outlet, mine was animals and taking care of animals. Once that happened, they were my family. They were the ones I was living for. They're the ones that I was connecting to, the horses, everything that I was, taking care of, raising foals, delivering foals, sleeping with them, everything. That I was always answering. My question was, why? When I would cry, it would be with them. Wouldn't be with my birth parents. And I just wasn't allowed to see any other children or any other kids. I was very isolated, out in the boonies. And school was very escapism, but I always had to go back, it was like this weird journey. And this nurse approached me.
Wow.
And Norma Pasquale was her name. And she brought me into her office, and I wouldn't talk. It took her a long time to get me to talk to her, to tell her what was going on. And someone in my school had reported large bruises on my legs, and in my gym class or something. And that's how she heard about it. That's how she pulled me in.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't talk. I was so afraid of my father. And she convinced me to talk, that it would be okay and I didn't have to live this life, like I said. And then she introduced me to the community policeman. They gave me his card, and they said, if it ever gets too bad, you call this number. Well, my birth parents at that time, it was getting worse and worse and worse. And I had a grandfather who was a pedophile. And it got to the point where they figured out my secret, which was the animals.
Yes.
And they took them away from me. And I left the next day. I called in the middle of the afternoon. My parents were across the street at the time, working on with the horses. And I called the number. I'll never forget, to this day, gives me chills. I called the number, and he answered, and he said, "Hello." And I told him my name. I said, "This is Gigi." And he goes, he answered, he said one question. He goes, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes." And I had no idea where I was going. I didn't know what the next day, I was in high school. I didn't know what the next day was going to bring. He said, "Meet me at midnight and make sure you're out for your property." And I packed everything that I could. I had a parakeet in a cage as well that I took with me, cashew. And I packed up everything, and I moved everything piece by piece by piece. My parents were sleeping. We lived in a trailer. They were at the other end. And I packed everything piece by piece by piece off the property, in tears, leaving all the animals and all the dogs and all the horses, and got off the property, long story short. And at midnight, 2 headlights came, and it was him. And he pulled up, and we loaded everything in black trash bags, and we loaded everything in his car, and his trunk, and I got in the car, and I had a sheet pulled over my bird's cage, and he goes, "I didn't know you were going to bring a bird." And I said, "Well, you're lucky I didn't bring, horses and dogs and all kinds of things." And we flipped a bitch, and he put on an old country song, and my life changed dramatically.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when I was about, there's many stories, but then when I was about 17, I met an incredible family through, I was homeless and was working in a bar underage, and met this incredible girl, and her name was Missy. She's still my sister today, and she took me to her parents, and she said, "This is Gigi, and she's moving in with us." And they became my family, and they're still alive today, and they know everything. Yeah.
Is there any advice you give to other women who are going through this, either abused by their husband? There's abuse in so many ways, and it's so prevalent.
Well, it's normally coming from somebody you know. They had 3 different kinds of abuse: mental, physical, sexual, in my life. But it is important to trust if you have an outlet. This nurse, I found out, it's beautiful, I found out many years later that this nurse, they named a school after, there's a school, elementary school named after her, and I didn't understand why. My life changed in so many different steps, as all of our lives do. But when I finally healed myself,
yes,
and I went back to understand, because you have to go back to understand and break up all those parts in your lives, I found out they named an elementary school after her. And the reason why they did is because she saved so many abused children, her and this guy. And they named a school after her, but she's no longer with us. But they named a school after her because she was saving kids. So my advice is, reach out, whether it's a community center, someone can help you. There were people working with my parents at the time that were petrified that I wasn't going to make it. And I was lucky to be alive. And there were people that were trying to reach out, but they didn't know how to, because I was insulated. Yeah. And it was through this school, by trust, by having the trust with someone, you just know it. Like, for me to trust even to talk to you, because I love what you do for Glorious Broads, to send out this message and this power of women and sharing, right?
Yeah.
So I trusted this woman, and I call them bridge angels.
You called what?
Bridge angels. I call them bridge angels. She carried me across a bridge. And there was another one after that, when I was homeless at one time. I was living under a highway sign. I met, went into a Pizza Hut, and they had a help wanted sign. This is before I met my true family, I call them, my family of choice. They said, they took a look at me, and they could tell that I was homeless, and they brought me in, and this couple who were renting this pizza inn became another bridge angel. They took care of me. They took me to the commissary. They got me makeup. They took care of me. They said, "You can sleep on the couch here at the restaurant," because they knew. They didn't never asked, but
Yes.
they knew. So that's a trust, and I feel that by trusting and letting yourself be open to your destiny, you're going to be taken care of, because you have to trust in the universe. You really do.
I think what you just said is astounding, because there are many of us who are still, I don't want to say harboring, I don't want to put anyone down, who are still in pain about their past, but the forgiveness. Did you ever see your parents again?
I tried many times. My mother would hang up on me, and I didn't know until much later in life, like my newfound family at 17 to this day, who I adore, Tom and Carol and Missy and Karen. They took me in. They're like, "Yeah, you're going to stay upstairs." They taught me what a real family was.
Yes.
And I didn't know, but she tried to contact other people from my school, and Carol, my mom's name, my real true mom today, she tried to call my birth mom. The school tried to call them. I tried to call her. She would say, "You have the wrong number." Bam. I would try to send letters. I would try to, my father was more nostalgic. My birth father was more nostalgic, and we found out they both died in 2017 in crazy circumstances. We won't get into that. Very crazy. Anyway, and they found letters. He kept my letters. We tried to have a couple phone calls. He's the only one I tried to see. But he basically told me, very honest, and it released me. He says, "You have a half a deal. I love you, but your mother will never love you. And I will love you, but I can't see you, because I had to make a choice between you and her. So that was the truth that I needed to hear, and that released me. And so I think it's truth, forgiveness, and finding trust to be able to share your stories to help not only others, but yourself.
Anger is an illness.
Anger is an illness, and anger will make you so sick. And if you don't deal with it and don't get it out of your system, it's gonna make you sick.
Yeah. Meanwhile, how the hell did you get to New York?
How did I get to New York? Through modeling. I was rescued out of Texas. More bridge angels happened. Someone said, "Oh, you should model."
Yeah.
And I was, working in restaurants, bartending, whatever I could do to survive. And I had this beautiful family who adopted me, since I was 17. They're incredible. And, had the support finally, and all my life to this day. And I got not a contract, but someone came through town from Paris, and they said, my agency in Dallas, they said, you should sell everything and move here immediately. So I did, and I moved to Dallas, and a scout came from Paris, and she took me to her hotel. I had to go to her hotel with, approval from my agent, Tanya Blair, she was called. And she said, yes, you can go, she's legit. I went to her hotel. I had a terrible, Texan perm, and she slicked my hair back and took Polaroids. And within a month, I had a one-way ticket to the top agency in Paris.
Fabulous.
And it changed my life. And I started working in Europe and lived in Europe for 5 years and traveling all over the world. And as a model.
Oh my God.
And then
that's finishing school, baby.
Yeah, that was my cultural. That was my college. That was my school. That was my everything, because I didn't, barely finish high school. And that taught me about the world and cultures. And once I had a portfolio, I could finally do advertising, which brought me to New York.
Yeah.
So that's how I finally came to New York.
Wow. Why New York? Why? What does New York do for you?
You mean now?
Yes.
New York is alive. And I feel so impassioned by this city and everything it has to offer. There's something new to discover every day, whether it's a new play, a performance. It's just so full of life. And no matter how many times and how many places I've lived all over the world, I always come back to New York, because I just feel, the first time I even came here, I knew I would be back.
Yes.
I just love it so much. It just makes me feel, it fulfills my heart and my passion, and the people here and the survival here. There's no place like it.
Yeah, and it does require a hustle, but that also, it's an aliveness.
It's alive. It's a hustle. It makes you run. I think it makes you a better person.
I agree. And there's an older woman. I don't describe my friends anymore as there's this 86-year-old, but there's this 86-year-old who's a good pal of mine, and she says, you know what? It's tough to live in New York, and that's what's keeping me alive.
It is. It forces you to get out there. You have to walk the streets. You have to survive, but look at how much we have here at our fingertips.
Yes.
And that is a gift. And
yes.
I treat it as such. I feel it's a female in New York. And I feel that she'll take from you, but she'll also give you so much.
Yes.
And you also have to give back to her.
Oh, you do. Let's talk about your sexuality. Did you have a coming out moment, or it was organic? And
gosh, did I have a coming out? Well, it's funny. When I was a teenager, I think it was when I was a teenager, I came out. I don't even say came out. I crossed over, I say, at 24, a little bit later in life. But I used to carry a picture of Margaret in my wallet.
Oh, good.
And I didn't really understand why. I just thought she was the bomb.
The bomb.
And I just carried her in my wallet. And I think I also had a fascination just with her sexuality and her vibrancy
Yes.
and her performance.
Yes.
And that I was just enchanted by her whenever I would see her. So I had a picture of her. And I think I had crushes, and I know that there was like there was the lesbian group in my high school, and they were kind of following me around, and I never really got it, but they knew before I did.
Yes.
And I, looking back, and so around 24, I met a wonderful gay boy through my sister, Missy. His name was Alberto, and he took me to my first gay bar. And I was like, what the hell is this? I felt so at home. And immediately I was met a couple, a female couple, and they seduced me, and that was that.
You never crossed back.
No.
I love that. That's great. So how do you deal with your inner critic, where you pick on yourself, if you have one?
I think we all have an inner critic. I think as we get older, I have to say it gets better. Because you stop taking the critique so seriously, and you start forgiving yourself. That it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to pick yourself back up again and learn again. I feel like it's so important. We're going to be learning. Well, I'm going to be learning until my last breath. There's so much to experience in this life. It's a gift. So every day is a gift, and every moment we wake up, every day that we wake up. And I feel that the critic teaches you to be a better person. And through that, it's a lesson. So therefore I honor it, and as I become older, I listen to it, but I don't pay so much attention to it. I take what I need from it and move on.
I think you have a pretty healthy attitude about aging. Do you agree?
I think I've never felt more comfortable. I was much more insecure, I think. I went through so much, growing up. Took a long time. I feel like I'm a late bloomer. And I feel that age is really a fine-tuning of your soul and your heart to be all that you can be. And it's important to embrace, and it's important to learn. Not only are we learning about everything outside, we're learning about ourselves and how we react, and how, again, we can be empathetic and compassionate to others. And through the combination of life and living, it's all about love, and you have to love yourself, and you have to love others, and you have to love this life. It's all a gift.
Are you interested in longevity? That whole vocabulary of longevity, hitting 100. How's your feeling about that?
If it's meant to be and I'm coherent, I guess. If I'm still able to give back, yes. But I don't really think about it. I'm really so busy trying to embrace each moment and each day and everyone that we cross paths with. I don't really see an age, so to speak. I don't really do anything about longevity. I don't really care about, any kind of enhancements or anything like that, or never would I. But I think to each their own. But for me personally, it's organic. And if that's meant to be, then so be it. But I would, I always have this question with the women that I work with. I have 9 women now. If you have your physicality, but you don't have your mentality, or the vice versa, which is better? I have a person who has her mentality but doesn't have her physicality, and I have the opposite. So it's really, is it destiny? What happens? So many people are dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia and things like this. It's a big subject, and I'm dealing with it with some of my
you are
artists. And it's very sensitive, and if they can afford to have the help, but it's also progressive. What will be my own destiny with it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it inheritance? Is it how we take care of ourselves? What is it?
Yes.
What is this life? Life and death. I just want to embrace learning as I go for myself, and helping and learning with others.
And you're also very physical. You do stuff.
Yes, I think it's very important to be physical. I ride a bike. I can't wait more on the West Side Highway. I go to the gym. I do yoga. I think it's very important to get out energy through exercise.
Yes.
And by training your muscles, which keep you tight, protects your heart, protects your organs, your abdomen, protects your back. And I think it's, I grew up, my birth father was an Olympian. And my aunt, who's still alive, she was a bodybuilder, so I have these kind of genes, I think. It's something that helps me, again, get out of my head. I think exercise is crucial to help you prolong, not so much, I don't want to use the word prolong, but helps you get through life at least an hour a day.
I agree. Have how many artists now?
2x2 Media, I have 9 artists that I'm dealing with. One is quite sick, the 103-year-old, and I have 9 that I'm working with regularly. Yes, and again, I do everything for them for free, whatever they need. I have 2 to 3 volunteers that I work with, and I'm working on a film pitch for one. I'm working on creating a first photography book for another. They're a mix of art. I have photographers, sculptors, painters, my first literary artist, a fashion maven. It's a whole mix. So the idea is to help them, again, provide a voice and a platform for their work, to lift them, to fulfill their dreams.
Well, I love that you post, it's not work, it's friendship, and you get together with these,
Yes, I try to do a meeting with everyone every 2 to 3 months to keep us all together, because it creates community.
Yeah.
And for me, there's no limit to, there's no age limit to art, creativity, or friendship. And that's really one of my mottos for 2x2.
I may put this in or may not, but some of them are a little less lucid than others. I'm just asking.
Yes, newly found. I have one that's 86. Yes. I think it's tough to realize, but then if it is dementia, do you realize it? You're in the moment. Perhaps the memory's not the same, but if you show the person pictures of their past, they're with you. But will they remember tomorrow or what they have to do that day? Perhaps not. It really depends on the case by case.
Yes, right. And most of them are continuing to make the work, right?
Oh yes, they're all different. I have Meryl Meisler, she's like a shooting rocket.
She's amazing.
A photographer, she's incredible. And I have Donna Ferrato, who's another photographer. She's been documenting domestic violence for 50 years. She's in Portugal right now having a one-woman show. She's incredible.
She's incredible.
She won a doctorate last year for John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and for her work with domestic violence.
Yes.
Her book, Living with the Enemy, will soon be published again. She's amazing. She's one of my superstar. And I have a whole mix of different artists. I have Salima Ali, and I have Wes Murray, and I have Sheila Schwid. She's a painter. She's 93. She lives in Westbeth. I have 2 artists from Westbeth. I have Sephora Solomon. She's the fashion maven. Again, it's all for her. I document her. That's my gift to her, is to give her photography and videos to propel and help her with her career. Each person is different. With Wes Murray, she's a mixed media. She's a vintage children's clothing collector. So anything I can help her with her social media or creating books or help, whatever it is, I try to meet with them at least once a week, or calling them, or helping them. Whatever it is, I want to be there, and hopefully I'll be able to help more women with time and create those chapters.
Yeah, it must really help you see. You're in your 60s, right?
Yes.
But it must help you see that you could have this vibrant 70, you might have this vibrant 80.
Oh, it is not over, because, my 93-year-old, she didn't start showing her work until she was in her 70s.
See, I love this.
And it's really important to work on legacy, and that's a lot of the work that we do. And I feel that at 93, she's more alive than ever. and she just had a show in uptown. We just went to it last weekend. Another artist is having another show next week. So I'm always trying to go to their shows to support them. Also creating community between them.
Yes.
To, New York can become isolating.
Yes, it can.
And it's very important to create community between them. By introductions, by creating, I try to have a 2x2 media. And 2x2 comes from, it's always 2x2 by 2 by 2. We're always working in twos. And I make jokes now 2x2 by 3 or 2x2 by 4. But I'm trying to create more meetings of us together. Our next meeting is going to be here downstairs in May, so that we can hang out for 3 hours or so and talk about what 2x2 is up to. We just got our trademark, which is huge for us. Now we're official.
Wonderful.
So we talk about what's new with 2x2, what we're working on, and also for the artists to share what they're working on, sort of like a show and tell, a round table of all of us. And it's really important for them to be together.
Yeah.
As well as working individually, but to get to know each other.
Sure.
And to know that we're this group, this 2x2 media group.
Yeah. Well, I just want to talk about age a little more. I get DMs from young women. A lot of young women follow and just saying things like, "You've made me a little less afraid of being old."
Good.
And of course,
Broads is amazing.
And that makes me feel good. But I look at what you're doing with these women over 70, and you're exemplifying what I'm talking to these women about. Look at these women. I'd love you to say a little something more about age and also the chapters ahead.
It's about reverence. It's powerful. We must respect and take care of our elders. And if the younger generations can help us do that, all the more better. And if it's sort of wonderful when you have a round table with a younger generation and an older generation together.
Yes.
And how interesting, because even when I worked in the Red Cross way back in the 90s, I was taking care of an elder woman. Age doesn't matter. It's only a number, because inside you don't feel, maybe you look 90, but you don't feel 90 inside, unless perhaps you're having a physicality that's, taking you, causing pain or something. But inside you're still the same. Mm-hmm. And you have the same needs, you have the same desires. You want to be around people, you want to talk to people, you want to be with people, you want to create, you want to love. You have all the same things. And I think if we could talk more between the generations, I've chosen above 70 because I feel that they're marginalized, but if we could have more roundtables,
I totally agree.
All ages,
yes,
we could understand and help each other more. I feel like we're all so isolated. Women need to rise. Women need to support one another, because together we are so powerful. And that's what needs to happen.
Yes.
There is no age.
I talk a lot on Glorious Broads about the sensuality of women over 60. Mm-hmm. And I get DMs.
It only gets better.
Yeah, I get DMs from young women and saying, "Really? Do
yes.
I have that to look forward to?"
Yes.
Yeah.
You do. It does. It gets better. You know why? Because you get to know your body more, and you stop having inhibitions. And you start trusting yourself that maybe your body doesn't look the way you want it, but who cares? You start enjoying your life and your sexuality and your body. Embrace your body for who you are and what you're here with. You don't need to change it. It's not so much about, yes, make it stronger.
Yes.
Make it learn more, but teach your brain more. Honor your body, feed your body well, take care of your body, rest well, but embrace what you're here with. Now, at whatever age, again, it's so important, I think. And as we get older, I just feel so comfortable. And I feel that that's important to learn for any generation. It's only going to get better.
There's a lot of talk about libido, and they're all frightened that their libido would just go in the trash.
So not true. I used to have a very high libido. It has definitely changed, I would say. It's not less than, it's changed. I don't think about it, let's say, perhaps I don't think about it as much as I used to when I was like in my 30s, let's say. but boy, is it still powerful. And it becomes stronger because if you embrace how you honor yourself and accept yourself,
Yeah.
your body's more open to experience, whether that's with, masturbation or with another. It changes and it only gets better.
Yeah. Who is that woman? Betty. Has success changed for you now at this part of your life? The meaning of success?
To be honest, I don't think about it. Success that's something for somebody else to decide in my book. I don't really think about it.
And you never did?
I don't really understand what it means except for a projection of somebody else. Success. Success to me is living each day, living your best life. It's not about money or your job or it's really about how you love and how you're loved and how you live your life. That's success. Health is success. Having good health.
Yes.
Being able to have fun and live and experience. The biggest word is balance. And having, it's an ongoing job is balance. And I think that's more about success.
Very impatient with the I am invisible now. I am in middle age. I'm invisible. I am older. I am invisible. I don't feel invisible at all. How do you feel about that discussion?
That's ridiculous. I think we are more alive than ever.
Yes!
In our age, and we need to embrace it and stop all this ridiculous conversation. It's a waste of time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.